Number 10. Britney Spears and Sam Asghari. Pop superstar Britney Spears finally got to accomplish a long-awaited task that had been pushed to the sidelines due to her conservatorship. On June 9th, she got married to fiancé Sam Asghari at their home in Thousand Oaks. Apparently, they were able to turn her home into what she called a dream castle, saying that the day was a dream and the party was even better. Things were a little scary leading up to the ceremony, however, as her ex-husband Jason Alexander was arrested and charged with trespassing after breaking into the site of the wedding. This is in fact Spears' third wedding, but it seems that she and Sam are very happy together and have been engaged since September after meeting on set of a music video in 2016. While apparently a small ceremony with only around 100 guests that were close to the two, it was certainly extravagant. Spears wore a custom Versace dress, which many were expecting when it was revealed she had met up with the designer before the wedding was even announced. Number 9. Hailey Ferguson and Ola Palve. Star of The Bachelor and The Bachelor in Paradise, Hailey Ferguson just got married to Finnish hockey player Ola Palve. They were married in Las Vegas on Saturday, June 11th. After leaving The Bachelor behind, Hailey met the hockey player in January of 2020, getting engaged shortly after in May of 2021. Her and her twin sister Emily, who also got engaged to a professional hockey player, shared a joint bridal shower and bachelorette party, but knew that they wanted to have separate individual weddings. But Hailey did have Emily at her side as her maid of honor. Another interesting wedding guest was an Elvis impersonator, who Hailey said she had there because it's Vegas and you just have to. For their honeymoon, they announced that they will be going to Laguna Beach and Los Angeles, as well as Universal Studios, as Palve is apparently a large fan of Harry Potter. In the future, they say they just want to enjoy being married for now, but ideally would like to have 2 or 3 children. Number 8. Mama June and Justin Stroud. Here Comes Honey Boo Boo mother Mama June has made the headlines a few different times, probably most popularly for her massive physical transformation, but this time she's the talk of the town after she had a courtroom wedding with her boyfriend Justin Stroud after they had been together for less than a year, 6 months to be exact. On June 1st, they announced their marriage and showed off their wedding band, saying, well, official Mama June and official Smalls are off the market. She said that when you know, you just know, and teased that their journey and love story will be featured in upcoming episodes of the show Mama June Road to Redemption. She went on to say that Justin has done a great deal for her, saying he put the pieces of her life back together, and she's apparently happier than she's been for a long time, and finally knows who June Shannon is after 42 years.
Sliding into number 7 is Renee Zellweger and Kenny Chesney. Yet another couple that I didn't know was ever even a thing. Is it just me, or does this one feel like super random? They first met back in January of 2005 at NBC's Concert of Hope Tsunami Telethon. Renee told Jay Leno that there wasn't any sparks between the two of them that night, but they still exchanged numbers. Sparks must have grown between them because they dated shortly after, and only a few months after dating, they got married. Their wedding was on May 9th, 2005 in the US Virgin Islands, where they invited 45 close friends and family members. Although it was a beautiful wedding, their marriage didn't last long and it came to an end just 4 months later in September. Renee filed for an annulment and cited fraud as the reason. The statement spread like wildfire and everyone was throwing shade at Kenny, but Renee came to his rescue saying, I quote, "Fraud is simply language and not a reflection of Kenny's character." Maybe you should have clarified that from the start. Regardless, there is no disrespect between them and neither of them regret the marriage.
Number 6. Shawnee O'Neal and Keion Henderson. Basketball Wives star and ex-wife of Shaquille O'Neal, Shawnee O'Neal got married to pastor Keion Henderson at the Aurora Anguilla Resort and Golf Club in May after getting engaged in November of 2021. She was also joined by her daughters, who helped her to get dressed and prepared for the big day. Henderson also shared his excitement about his wife, saying, "She's amazing. She's just the most laid-back, hilarious, fun-loving person. She's a woman of faith, she can dress, she can cook, and she can sing." Shawnee had been anxious about walking down the aisle after her father passed before the wedding, saying, "I really struggled with how I was going to get down the aisle. Losing my dad in the midst of planning this wedding was a lot, so my sons handed me off." The children were apparently a large part of the ceremony and had such a good time that they didn't even want to leave when it was over. As they look to the future, they apparently want to build a legacy together, and Shawnee said this new chapter of her life is all about growing and evolving.
Halfway through the list at number 5 is Tamara and Tia Mowry. Because they are twins, I am allowing to take up one spot. I mean, I don't think it's fair to only mention one of them. How would I even choose? I feel like that would be rude. They started their acting careers on the sitcom Sister Sister and later gained more recognition for starring together on the Disney Channel movie Twitches and then its sequel Twitches 2. Tia and her husband Corey Hardrick are like a real-life fairy tale. After dating for 6 years, the couple got engaged on Christmas Day in 2006 and then got married on April 20th, 2008. They have 2 adorable children together and are definitely #goals. Her sister Tamara is also married and tied the knot to a man named Adam Housley. They had their first date back in January 2005 at PF Chang's and through some ups and downs still got married later in 2011. Social media took a toll on their relationship for people having racial issues with their relationship, but nonetheless they are now a family of 4 and are cuter than ever.
Number 4. Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker. Keeping Up with the Kardashians member Kourtney Kardashian and drummer Travis Barker were married for what appears to be the 3rd time in May of this year. They had first had a practice wedding at a Las Vegas chapel in April and then their legal marriage on May 15th before finally having their official wedding in Italy on May 22nd. They were surrounded by their loved ones, including all of their 6 children. They also took to sharing a few photos of their beautiful ceremony to Instagram right after the wedding. An interesting tidbit to share about their practice wedding in Las Vegas is that, similar to Hailey Ferguson, they had an Elvis impersonator present. They were first engaged in October of 2021 in a romantic gesture where they stood in a heart made of roses and candles. It was then followed by a celebratory dinner with the family, which could be viewed on an episode of the Hulu series The Kardashians.
Coming in hot at number 3 is Katy Perry and Russell Brand. You probably knew that they were a couple back in the day, but did you know that they were actually married? Their romance was a whirlwind as they fell in love and got married rather quickly, which might be one of the reasons why it didn't work out. They first met back in 2008 on the set of Get Him to the Greek, but it was in 2009 that they started dating and later announced they were engaged on New Year's Eve. For the record, their engagement came just 4 months after they started dating, so they were moving quickly. They had their wedding in October 2010 at a super secret traditional Hindu ceremony in India. It was at a resort which was across from the tiger sanctuary that he proposed at. The marriage only lasted 14 months and Russell filed for divorce shortly after Christmas in 2011. They both had different reasons as to why they split. Katy told Vogue that he didn't like that she was equal to her and tried to control her. He says he just had a change of heart and his mind frame began to shift, whatever that means. Worst part about the failed marriage was that he ended things through text. Katy told Vogue the story saying, "Let's just say I haven't heard from him since he texted me saying he was divorcing me on December 31st, 2011. Classy.
Number 2. Ross Matthews and Dr. Wellinthon Garcia. RuPaul's Drag Race judge Ross Matthews married his fiancée Dr. Wellinthon Garcia in a beachside ceremony in Mexico in, you guessed it, May of this year. It was apparently the same place that the couple had met 2 years ago, and they exchanged vows in front of around 110 guests. They had been worried about how many people would actually show up due to it being a destination wedding, and had apparently stressed over where to actually hold it, since Matthews lives in Los Angeles and Garcia in New York. But friend Drew Barrymore apparently gave them advice saying, "Do it where you're supposed to do it, and the people who are supposed to be there will be there." And as it turns out, 110 of the invited 130 guests came for the wedding. Drew Barrymore also ended up being the flower girl for the wedding, after having joked about it with Ross Matthews on her show. Celebrity wedding planner Michael Russo said of the wedding, "The profound love shared by Ross and Wellinthon was felt by all of those in attendance at their beautiful and touching ceremony. The two exchanged heartfelt vows against the picture-perfect backdrop of an epic sunset painting the Puerto Vallarta, Mexico sky." Number 1. Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Finally not a May wedding on this list, actor Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead got married in a small ceremony in April. The wedding comes after 4 years of them being together and having a son together in June of 2021. The source said of the wedding, "It was a small wedding for family and close friends. They had an outdoor ceremony, it was lovely and joyful, the menu was farm to table. They are an adorable couple. They are pretty low-key and like their canyon life. They often hike and go to the beach." They originally met on the set of Fargo in late 2016 and afterwards both ended up divorcing their current partners, Winstead after 7 years of marriage and McGregor after 22. Ewan McGregor is currently continuing his role as Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi Kenobi in the Disney Plus series, and Winstead is preparing to appear in the series Ahsoka.
Starting off the list at number 10 is David Henry, who starred alongside Selena Gomez on the Disney hit TV show Wizards of Waverly Place. The actor tied the knot with his long-term girlfriend Maria Cahill in an intimate ceremony in Wilmington, California back in 2017. After 3 years, the then 27-year-old was thrilled to lock her down and gushed to E! News saying, "I knew Maria was special from the moment I saw her." The wedding was a ceremony filled with friends and family, including Selena Gomez and the rest of the Disney cast. Fans were freaking out about the reunion after Selena posted a picture of the cast saying, "Very much in my feelings about my big brother getting married, even though we for sure knew it would be him first." That is just adorable. Just a few months ago on March 19, 2019, they welcomed their first child together, a little girl named Pia. He shared on Instagram that she was a miracle for them because they actually had 3 miscarriages prior to being blessed with her. He thanked Pope Francis for the blessing because he literally prayed for them to have a baby. Like in person, met them, held their hands and prayed, blessed them to have a child. Their daughter's middle name is actually Francesca in honor of him. Up next at number 9 is Tiffany Thornton, the bubbly blonde actress who starred alongside Demi Lovato on the series Sunny with a Chance. The former Disney star went on to marry Chris Carney, a musician and MTV reality star. He was known for being the lead singer of the rock band The Prom Kings. They were married from 2011 to 2015 and had 2 very handsome sons together before he tragically died in a car accident on December 4th, 2015. He was only 35 years old. Only 2 years after his death, she got remarried to a longtime family friend named Josiah Kapasi. Many people criticized her for finding happiness with someone else only 2 years after the death of her first husband, but she did not let them rain on her parade and posted a lengthy caption defending her choices. In it, she said, I quote, "There's no timeline for grief or for when God moves in your life in undeniable ways. I thought of Chris watching us, knowing he would have loved the choice I made for me and for the boys. I will always love Chris, and Joe knows that." Chris Carney's parents also attended the wedding and sat front row in full support of her happiness. Sliding to number 8 is Corbin Bleu. You know, Zac Efron's best friend in the movie series High School Musical. The former Disney actor married actress Sasha Clemens on July 23, 2016 in California. He was 27 years old at the time and she was 26 when they said their vows in front of guests at Hummingbird Nest in Santa Susana. Corbin told People magazine, I quote, "Getting married to Sasha was the best moment of my life. From the flowing veil in the wind as she walked to the big smile on her face, it suddenly hit me that this stunning woman that was looking at me was going to marry me and make me the happiest man in the world. My heart." He's got away with words, right? Well, not always. His vows caused more of a stir than anything when he didn't really think them all the way through. Turns out they wrote their own vows, and when writing them he was only thinking with her in mind. During his beautiful vows, he got to one part and said, "I vow to pleasure you," which immediately had everyone laughing because one can only imagine what the bride's father was thinking during a moment like that.
Forgot her father is like sitting right there, and I said, I vow to pleasure you. And it created that, but I kept going, and I stopped myself.
Number 7, Christmas Abbott and Memphis Garrett. If we're placing bets on the most unique names on this list, I would put mine here, as Big Brother stars Christmas Abbott and Memphis Garrett got married in May of this year. They got married at the State Railroad Museum in Savannah, Georgia, after originally meeting on Big Brother All-Stars in the summer of 2020. And while they didn't win the competition, it does appear they both won each other's hearts. They got engaged in 2021, and Garrett shared his excitement saying, "We can continue to build our relationship and grow together. We have so much fun together and we complement each other. When you find something like that, you don't ever want to let that go. She is my forever girl." While Abbott originally wanted to have a small courtroom ceremony, Garrett had been the one to convince her to have a larger ceremony and allow more friends and family to be present and share in the love. He was also apparently responsible for planning the entire wedding.
Coming into number 6 is Ryan Merriman. The actor started out in Disney Channel original movies like Smart House, The Luck of the Irish, and A Ring of Endless Light. He was a little Disney heartthrob at the time, and he also grew up into one and starred on the hit TV series Pretty Little Liars. He's all grown up now and he's married, so Disney fans have officially lost their chance at being with this hottie. He got married to his wife Kristen McMullen on September 6 back in 2014. They got married in an intimate ceremony on the East Coast, but his proposal is talked about more than his actual wedding. He proposed to her in April 2013 on their trip to New Zealand Zealand. He told Us Weekly how it happened and said, "There is this awesome thing called Sky City with a stratosphere tower, and they light off about $300,000 worth of fireworks at midnight. As soon as I gave her a kiss and proposed, the fireworks started going off. It was kind of like a movie." I want a proposal like that. This video is making me very bitter. I'm learning. I don't want to talk about love anymore. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet. The two of them claim they are a perfect fit and have a 14-year partnership to back that statement up. Jason said he was in love with Lisa ever since he saw her on TV in 1987 when she starred on The Cosby Show. It wasn't until 2005 when they met at a New York jazz club. They were immediately together from the day they met. Lisa described it to Porter magazine saying, "In that moment, love came and it came big, and he did not run as I think a lot of men do." In 2007, they had their first child together, a daughter named Lola, and the following year a son named Nakoa. I think that's how you say it. Fun fact, Lisa was previously married to Lenny Kravitz and they had a daughter together, Zoe Kravitz, so Jason has also played stepdad in her life and loves every second of it. She calls him Papa Bear in all of her Instagram posts with him. It's totally adorable. As for marriage, it wasn't until 12 years later that they officially tied the knot in October 2017. They held a low-key ceremony at their home in California. Apparently it was meant to be a secret, but of course someone leaked it online. Jason told Entertainment Tonight, I quote, "You know what? I've been married to my wife for 12 years. It's just a gathering of our families and celebrating our love." And at the time of this recording in 2019, they are still happily together and looking as adorable as ever. Up next at number 4 is another High School Musical star, Monique Coleman. In all honesty, I was totally shipping her and Corbin Bleu to date. For like ever. I really wish they were on this list together, like married to each other, but whatever. After her years at Disney, she went on to compete in ABC's Dancing with the Stars. For years, people have talked about her boyfriend Walter Jordan. They've referred to him as her boyfriend because Monique actually kept it private that they got married on Valentine's Day back in 2012. They got married in a private ceremony on an island off the coast of Thailand. Like literally, it was just them. She never talked about why she kept it private, but from what we've seen in the pictures, it looked like they had a very special time, just the two of them. They don't have any kids yet, just an adorable little fur baby, a dog, but rumors have started 2 days ago on August 19th, 2019, after an article surfaced claiming that she is expecting. The actress's rep told the journalist, "I do not comment on her personal life." So it has neither been confirmed nor denied.
Number 3. Frankie Grande and Hale Leon. Reality star and sister to Ariana Grande, Frankie Grande got married to his partner Hale Leon in an intimate ceremony which took place at their home in Florida on May 4th. It definitely seems like May was a big month for celebrity weddings this year. They met at a line dancing bar in 2019 and 2 years later Frankie proposed. While at a virtual reality experience, a "Will you marry me" message showed up on the screen. Frankie said of the wedding, "It was the most beautiful ceremony, officiated by my incredible mother, and it brought us even closer together as we took our vows before our immediate families and before God." They wore tuxedos and drank sparkling cider and cut into a Star Wars themed cake for the ceremony. The whole wedding apparently being described as out of this world. Ariana Grande also appeared on social media to share her support for the two, saying, "Crying again. I love you both so very much."
In spot number 2 is Ali Michalka, also known as AJ from the sister duo Ali and AJ. But when it came to acting, she was known for her role as Keely in the Disney Channel series Phil of the Future. The former Disney star married her film producer fiance Steven Ringer at a romantic ceremony in Italy back in 2015. She went against the odds and wore a lavender colored dress, and she looked beautiful doing it. They first met back in 2012 on the set of Sequoia, the movie where Ali played the lead role and Steven produced it. The couple asked their friends and family who attended the wedding to hashtag any of their posts with the hashtag "put a ringer on it" to tie it in with his last name. Get it? I think that is super clever and adorable. As for now in 2019, there are no kids in their family picture, but the good news is her and her sister Ali are back as a band and touring for the first time in forever. That's pretty sweet. Taking our number 1 spot is Ashley Tisdale. That is right, Miss Sharpay Evans toned down the sass and locked down a man. The High School Musical star married musician Christopher French on September 4th back in 2014. She posted her wedding pictures to her Instagram and captioned them, "Best day of my life." Their wedding was actually a secret and they were able to pull it off because they got married on a Monday. A Monday! She said they chose the date because the 8th was their anniversary, but also because she was hoping no one would figure it out and they could have more privacy. All the guests were were sent to a secret location and they were actually shuttled to the wedding ceremony. They even took everyone's cell phones and other electronics for the ceremony so that no pictures could be leaked. The couple didn't meet at some fancy event either. They actually met back in 2012 through mutual friends. So maybe let your friends set you up on your next date. You never know. The best part of her wedding was standing alongside her was her High School Musical co-star Vanessa Hudgens, who was one of her bridesmaids. My teenage self is screaming inside right now because that is so precious. Starting off the list at number 10 is Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson. The Baywatch babe and rock star had a marriage that is notable for their now famous wedding, which was a huge yacht party in St. Tropez. Their first engagement was called off in 2003, and 3 years later they got married in July 2006 on a boat. The yacht party was a huge success, but their marriage wasn't. It was very short-lived. Pamela filed for divorce in November 2006, and it was finalized in 2007. Back in 2018, she spoke candidly about their past marriage during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. She admitted that she never spoke to him again after the split. It was basically the definition of out of sight, out of mind. She doesn't have any bad things to say about him and vice versa. But rumors were going around after Kid Rock made a joke saying that the Borat movie was the cause of their divorce. Pamela Anderson had a cameo in the movie, and apparently Kid Rock wasn't a fan of the movie in general, so when news headlines started saying that Borat was the reason for their divorce, they didn't really care to deny or confirm it. Who cares at this point, right? Like, you might as well just have a good laugh. At number 9 is Kim Kardashian and Damon Thomas. Most people don't know who Damon is or that Kim was ever married to him. He's a music producer who she decided to marry when she was just 19 years old. He is 10 years older than her, so if we do the easy math, he was 29 at the time. She walked down the aisle for the first time ever back in 2000 and admits that she was on ecstasy on her wedding day. On her family reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she talks about it with her younger sister Kendall Jenner, saying, "I did ecstasy once and I got married. I did it again, I made a sex tape. Like, everything bad would happen." Well, I mean, don't blame the drugs now, Kim. The two of them were married for 4 years before getting divorced in 2004. Based on their divorce papers, Damon was extremely controlling. Kim revealed that Damon decided what we would do and when we would do it. He was very much the king of the castle. She makes other serious claims that he both physically and mentally abused her as well. Good news is she was able to file for a divorce and continue to move forward. Next up at number 8 is Wiz Khalifa and Amber Rose. I didn't even know they were dating, let alone married. The two of them started dating in 2011, and just a year later they announced the news of their engagement and also that a baby was on the way. They welcomed their first child in February 2013, a son named Sebastian. For fans, it seemed like they had a picture-perfect family life going on, but only a year and a half into their life as parents, they announced that they were splitting up. Wiz has since opened up about the marriage and how difficult the split was for him, but he has no bad blood towards his ex-wife. He thinks that it was for the best. Amber agrees and told Us Weekly, I quote, "It's so crazy that we are literally best friends. We hang out all the time." Well, that is refreshing to hear since they are also co-parenting. It is nice that they can still have a happy ending. And at number 7 is Mollee Gray. She first started out as a backup dancer in High School Musical, but then got recognized for her role in Disney's Teen Beach movie and Teen Beach 2. She's known for her incredible talent and skills in dance, and was actually later on a finalist on season 6 of So You Think You Can Dance. So I think she can dance. She surprised some fans after she came out as gay and dated her girlfriend, Jecca Jane, for 4 years. She said she hid it for so long because she was afraid that it would affect her career. She told Advocate, I quote, "I kept it hidden. I was so scared. I thought if somebody knows, I won't book a job, and there is no way I could ever play straight again on camera. It just messed with my head." They started dating in September 2013, and Jecca proposed in April 2016. They ended up getting married in September 2017 in a ceremony that looked pretty much like a fairy tale. The ceremony and reception was held on the rooftop of The Landing in South Lake Tahoe's Heavenly Village. And boy was it heavily, look at the pictures. Mollee was ecstatic and says she cannot wait to experience her life with her new husband. That's what she calls Jecca, and I think it is the cutest thing ever. Me and my husband. Ooh! That's so cute! And at number 6 is Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis. Some of you might be like, why are they on this list? Do you live under a rock? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, I do, because I had no idea that they were a couple, and in my defense, I also asked Rebecca, and she didn't either, and neither did Chris. So, they've been together for 8 years now, and the relationship timeline shows how committed they are to each other. They met each other back in fall 2011 at a Saturday Night Live finale party, and they exchanged phone numbers, and the rest is basically history. They became official in December 2011, and in January 2013, they announced their engagement. Later that year in October, they announced Olivia's first pregnancy with their son Otis. Years later, they're still not married. In April 2016, they announced her second pregnancy with their daughter Daisy. Which leads us to today in 2019. They are happily parenting their two beautiful children and are still not legally married. Rumors are flying that they've secretly tied the knot, but they continue to deny it. They've been engaged for years and are living like a married couple, so they don't feel like they need to rush it or make it a legal thing. I mean, I still consider this marriage. They're living like a married couple, they're committed like a married couple. What do you guys think?
Number 5. James Lafferty and Alexandra Park. Another May wedding. This one took place between One Tree Hill star James Lafferty and Royals actress Alexandra Park. They got married in Oahu, Hawaii, but it appears that they don't want to share too much about the ceremony, as neither of them have shared any pictures from the wedding on their own social media accounts. They first met in 2015 when Lafferty directed an episode of The Royals, but didn't officially announce a relationship until years later in 2018, and the engagement was announced 2 years after that. Lafferty shared the news of the engagement in September 2020 with a selfie of them together in the kitchen with a caption that read, "She said yeah." One photo that we did get from the wedding came from La friend Hattie Preston, who posted a photo of Alexandra in a beautiful lace dress on the dance floor of the ceremony.
Here we are number 4 with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Esposito. They were first spotted as a couple in 2006, and after just a few months of looking cozy in pictures, they confirmed their engagement in October. They got hitched in late December, just 2 months after the announcement. It was a fairly low-key wedding, taking place in the south of France, where they exchanged vows with some family and friends watching. It looked like they enjoyed their time together, but only 4 months into the marriage, Jennifer filed for divorce, citing it irreconcilable differences. Bradley's rep at the time shared a statement saying the divorce was mutual and they've been separated for quite a while. Throughout the years, it seems that Jennifer is the one who has some bad blood towards the actor. She once referred to the relationship as, I quote, "an entire marching band squad of red flags." Yikes. I like that phrase though, so I might use it when I describe some of my own exes. Here we are number 3 with Christy Carlson Romano, who is mostly known for her role as Ren Stevens on the Disney show Even Stevens. She's also known for being the voice of Kim Possible, which is really freaking cool. She's now married to a man named Brendan Rooney. They had a winter wedding here in Canada on December 31st, 2013. I personally cannot imagine taking my wedding pictures in a pile of snow, but hers actually turned out beautiful. The two of them have been together since 2011, and they met when she interviewed him for a campus documentary about veterans at Columbia University. He served time as a Marine and just so happened to be the president of the Columbia's Military Veterans Organization. They got engaged less than a year into dating. Turns out he proposed on a gondola in Italy. So romantic. They now have 2 beautiful daughters together who will both probably grow up to be Kim Possible every year on Halloween. In spot number 2 is Chad Michael Murray and Sophia Bush. I always knew they were that hot couple from the show One Tree Hill, but I had no idea that they actually got married. I was a huge fan of the show, which is where they met and continued to date. The show ran for 9 seasons and they were together by the second one. They weren't together for very long before they got engaged. They got married in April of 2005 when Sophia was just 22 years old and Chad was 23. They were very young. It was a very short-lived marriage as they separated just 5 months later. The divorce was finalized in December 2006. Down the road, just last year in 2018, Sophia talked about their marriage with Andy Cohen and said that she never wanted to get married and felt pressured to do it. She said she didn't want to let anyone down and felt the pressure from other people around them. Chad's rep replied with a pretty sassy statement to people saying, "The story is ludicrous. Chad conducts himself in a completely professional manner and would never marry for any reason but love. 13 years since his divorce with Sophia, he has a very happy life with his wife and children. He has completely moved on and doesn't feel the need to engage in this type of behavior." Boom. He shut that down. Taking our number 1 spot is R. Kelly and Aaliyah. This story is crazy. Kelly met her when she was just 12 years old as he produced some of her music for her. He was actually 24 years old at the time. They soon began dating despite the huge age gap and even got married 3 years later. Yes, if you're doing the math in your head, that would make Aaliyah 15 years old and Kelly 27. It was a huge scandal because after their secret wedding, the press uncovered a marriage certificate that showed her age was forged to 18 years old. Obviously, she wouldn't be allowed to get married at 15 years old, so it had to have been forged. But Kelly immediately denied the reports and said that he never knew she was 15 and that when he married her, he thought she was 18. Aaliyah tragically died in a plane crash when she was 22, but their story is still being talked about today, now in a courtroom. Earlier this year, in January 2019, a video surfaced which proved that Kelly knew her age at the time. The clip was uncovered by TMZ, which shows a clip from a 1994 documentary where you can see Kelly acknowledge acknowledging her age.
Now I'm producing a very talented lady, young lady. She's 14, Aaliyah.
In the video, Kelly is in the studio as he talks about Aaliyah, who you can hear singing in the background, and he says, "Right now I'm producing a very talented lady, a young lady. She's 14, Aaliyah." Since the video surfaced, Georgia authorities have launched an official criminal investigation.